Blog Talk Radio.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Doctors Are In here on the Psychic Talk Radio Network. I am your host, Dax Carlisle. I'm a tarot advisor, numerologist, hypnotherapist, and life coach coming to you live from Tucson, Arizona. We are a live call-in show, so give us a ring at 714-816-4628. As soon as you get through, press 1 on your dial pad. That lets us know you want to be live on air with us. Give us a ring, 714-816-4628. You can also chat with us during the live show and ask us questions and ask for a mini reading right on our chat post. Maybe you are listening in, but you can't call in for some reason. You might be at work listening and you want to type, but you can't talk live. So join us on the chat post. It is a post on our Facebook group, and in the comments on the post, you use that like a chat room. You just start typing in the comments, and we talk back and forth to each other like a chat room. That's right. So just go over to psychictalk.net/chat. That URL, write that down along with the phone number. That URL will take you to the chat post for that episode that day, every show. Okay, so we're trying to make it easy here. So psychictalk.net/chat will always take you to the chat post for the show that day. So, if you know that Rose and I are coming on Friday, or Mary and I are coming on a Saturday, or Charlotte on a Wednesday, or what have you, on that day, right at showtime, just open a new tab in your browser, type in psychictalk.net/chat. It'll take you right over to the chat post. Of course, you can find it searching on our Psychic Talk group. We have a group for Psychic Talk Radio. That's where the chat post is, will be found. And you can come join us there and chat with the other hosts and about psychic topics as well. So the Tarot Guild is the sponsor of today's show, the International Organization for Tarot Lovers, Students, and Professionals since 2004. And you can visit us over on our website, thetarotguild.com. And last but not least, we're going to bring on Dr. Rose here. So she is a certified life coach and spiritual teacher. She is the other host of The Doctors Are In every Friday, joining me to dispense her wisdom and wonderful tools for life, such as mantras and shamanic journeying. And next week we're actually doing energy tapping. We're doing tapping and EFT next week, yeah. And we call her the Mantra Maven. Here she is live from Berkeley, California, Dr. Rose Wilkerson. Hey, Rose. How's your Friday?
Hey, Dax. It's going pretty well. So, had my breakfast this morning, some coffee, and I'm on the show. Can't ask for more than that.
Yeah.
But it's going great. How about you? How are you doing?
Oh, I've been running around like crazy, getting ready for the show, getting ready for the topic today. We do have a topic today, folks. This is going to be great, right? Right, Dr. Rose?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I called it Wake Back to Bed, Powerful Lucid Dreaming. We're going to talk about lucid dreaming today. Yay! And Wake Back to Bed is actually a technique to get you started in developing your lucid dreaming, and so that's going to be fun. Nice. We're going to chat about it. We got a lot of fun topics we've been doing, and one's coming up. I can't wait for the EFT one next week. We're going to talk about tapping and specifically around stress. Right, Dr. Rose? You've been using this.
Yes, I have, and it's been going pretty good. So I'm excited to talk about it for next week because, a lot of people are under stress these days. All the craziness out there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. A lot of us that are, into the helping arts in one way or another, counselors and, even tarot readers and Reiki practitioners, hypnotherapists, EFT practitioners, NLP practitioners. We're all dealing with a lot of that with our clients. So just know you are not alone. If you need to talk to somebody, there are so many great hosts here on the network, and all of them are practitioners in one modality or another. Yeah. All of us are certified life coaches. Many of us are Reiki energy healers. A few of us do EFT. Most of us do tarot as well here on the network. So, yeah, we are available. And, in between shows, you can chat with us on our Facebook group there. Just go to Facebook and search Psychic Talk Radio. You can also type in your browser, psychictalk.net/Facebook. That'll take you right to the group as well. And our sponsor for today, the Tarot Guild, we have a group as well. thetarotguild.com/Facebook will take you over there. Or if you're already on Facebook, search the Tarot Guild. You're looking for the group, not the page, and not somebody else's pages, because I think the Tarot Guild of Australia also has a group, Dr. Rose. You want to look for the Tarot Guild group, and we have 6,300 members. So that's the one you're looking for. Or the easier way, if you're on the website, click one of the links or put in thetarotguild.com/Facebook. That'll take you right over there as well. So we got some folks calling in, 714-816-4628. We'll be going to calls in just a second here. And we're going to talk about lucid dreaming as well. I got to bring up, I was rushing around, like a chicken with head cut off here, and just trying to get everything set up. And, I didn't even open my tarot deck, I didn't get any. I usually do all this before the show, but I was a little bit rushed, got up a little bit late, not too much later than I normally do, but, got up a little later than I normally do, made the coffee, did all that kind of stuff like that, and I was reviewing my materials on lucid dreaming. And before I knew it, it was like showtime. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I haven't done the card of the day. I haven't gotten my tarot deck out. I haven't looked at the numerology. I haven't done anything.
Right.
Oh my God. So yeah, it's just been one of those mornings. But hey, it's Friday. The weekend's coming up. I'm very excited. I'm going to be on with Mary Brown tomorrow as well, and I get to be here with you today. Awesome sauce. So I will mention that the whole date 9/18/2020 adds up to 22, which is the master builder number. Today is the great day to build things, make plans for things, do things along those lines. And, of course, it reduces to 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 is structure. Notice how that's interrelated. To have plans, to build something, you have to have structure. It's interrelated.
That's correct.
Yeah, yep. And a lot of people don't notice these connections in numerology. And also the 18th, of course. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 is the end of a cycle. If it's somebody's life path, those are the philanthropists of the world. They care more about, helping other people than themselves. Right, Rose?
Right.
So today is a day of endings as well. So if you combine those two things together, you look at the master builder number, you look at 4 structure, you look at it being a 9-day, what can you take from that? Well, the way I would look at it is right off the bat, what I'm getting, just getting this feeling of it's a time to end certain things, let go of things, end the cycle, things that aren't serving you anymore, belief systems that aren't serving you anymore, and to make plans for the future. Build the new. Things like that. Yep. And then the card of the day is the Two of Cups. So some common associations with the Two of Cups, a romance, the beginning of a good friendship, harmony, cooperation with another person. It could be romantic, but it could also be partnerships, business partnerships, things like that. And that might actually dovetail into that 22 Master Builder 4 structure number, the numerology, that if that's what you're working on, it may be talking or referring to plans and developing partnerships and cooperation with other folks in order to accomplish what you're trying to build and so forth. So there you go, the card of the day, Two of Cups, and the numerology of the day. Actually, the day is a 9 energy, and the date, the whole date, is the Master Builder number 22/4 structure. So there you go. All righty. So before we get to the lucid dreaming, Dr. Rose, let's take a phone call. Let's see who's out there.
Sure.
We'll go back and forth between topics and phone calls here, and give some more time for some people to call in. It's kind of quiet today, so I want to see if some more people can call in at 714-816-4628, 714-816-4628. Looks like area code 215 has been waiting the longest. Caller, where are you? And what's your name?
Hi, my name's Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi. What? Can I just ask a question?
Anything, it's open lines. You can ask questions. You can ask for a mini reading. Anything you want.
I guess I'll have like a mini reading. I kind of want to know when I'm gonna find the person I'm supposed to be with.
Okay.
Love. We start the day off with love, or the show off with love. That's great.
Love.
Natalie, do you have someone in mind in particular, or just wanting to see what possibilities?
I'm thinking about my ex, but I'm kind of trying to get away from him. So I don't know if I really have anyone particular in mind.
Okay. Well, we'll take a look.
Yeah, that's not looking too good as far as the X there. I got the Tower card. Oh, God.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, yeah, maybe not go there. Just saying. But, if you can get past that and finally put it to bed, because if anything's holding you back, the same thought goes through my mind every time a caller calls in and asks a similar question to yours, Natalie. It's when? It's well, when would you like it to happen? 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months? Because you're in complete control. You can make it happen. We always think it's something external. It's okay, the tarot reader is going to tell me when this is going to happen in the future. And that's such BS. It's we are in control of how quickly we manifest or whether we manifest at all. And we talked about this on our last show, Rose, when we were talking about timing, using tarot for timing.
Right.
Yeah. And so I'm not against it. I've got an answer for you. But,
okay.
I'm not against timing, but it's relative. It's entirely relative. So basically, anybody like myself that's doing a reading, I don't care if they're a tarot reader or a psychic or what have you, we can only do a reading in the now. And so here in this now, in this moment, Natalie, all I can see in the future is potential outcomes based on the trajectory from your past decisions. So, timeline, you made a series of decisions with and without your ex, also that's part of the mix. and all these decisions led up to this moment, and you have like a trajectory into the future that is based entirely on where you are now. But we have free will. There's no such thing as fate. In order for someone to say that you will meet the man of your dreams and it will be on such and such a date in such and such a year, and his name is Fred, and you'll meet him in Chicago on the 23rd of August, 20,025, whatever. All that BS. In order for that to be true, fate would have to be true. In other words, it would have to be that the future is completely written in stone. We can't make any changes. The real power of tarot is doing coaching with the client, looking at the cards, getting the information, seeing where you're heading, and then you make decisions. You decide, okay, I don't like that outcome. I'm taking this other outcome over here, so I'm making different decisions that'll take me to this instead of this. Or no, I really like this outcome, except I'd like for it to happen faster, so I'm going to get in alignment with it more with the law of attraction, and I'm going to create a visualization of what I want, and I'm going to draw it in and make it happen in 5 weeks instead of 5 months. Okay? That's the real power of tarot, not me going, you're gonna meet this guy and it's gonna be, in 5 days. Okay. So what's coming up in the actual cards here? Like I said, I got the Tower card. That was really referring towards the X. And if you can get past that, if you that's the main thing here. So like the central focus card what the tarot wants you to focus on and know about is this Queen of Swords. Okay. And swords are thoughts and ideas. The Queen is very analytical. She's got that single thought, single idea, that single sword. Now, right before that is the Ten of Wands, which is a card of burdens and stress and being overworked, things like that. Okay. And then before that, the Tower card. All right. So if you can get past that, if you can get past the X and make that final, because if anything's holding you back, that's what it is you have not made the final decision. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
All right. So you need to make that final decision, and then you'll be able to get past this stage you're in right now with the stress and the burdens, the Ten of Wands, and get to the point of the Queen of Swords. So she makes that singular idea, which leads into a little about what I was talking about earlier about manifesting this. Are you keeping your dream journal? We're going to be talking about lucid dreaming shortly. Are you writing down little details every time you think of something? You have the same piece of paper. You just keep writing qualities, the type of person you want to draw, and not a specific person, but write down everything you want. How you want your relationship to be different from that previous relationship. How you want this new person to be different from that ex. It's like take all the negatives, turn them into positives, write them down on a piece of paper. So you're getting in alignment with what you're trying to manifest, what you're trying to attract in, you see. And that's a singular focus. That's the sword that the Queen of Swords is holding. And then if you could do that, right after that, literally the entire world opens up to you.
Oh.
Yeah. And the timing card is 5. And so, as I was making the examples, you kept hearing me say 5 because that actually is the real timing card, meaning that this is already kind of set to happen, but it's out there in the future, maybe 5 months. But you can make it happen between 5 days and 5 weeks. somewhere in that time frame, simply by getting past the X and getting in alignment with what you want to attract in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, Natalie. Well, there you go. There's your roundabout answer, but I did that because I was helping a lot of other people listening out there right now too, not just you. Thanks for calling in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Enjoy, Natalie.
Yeah. So, that sometimes people don't want to hear that, though. They want us to just say, right, Rose? It's like, oh, yeah, you're going to meet Fred in 5 days.
Yeah.
On the Space Needle. In Seattle.
Yeah.
It's like...
Right, and what I was going to say was that, we forget that we have control to a certain degree, that we have, what's within us and how we go about things and how we walk in this world. We have the power to change, our destinies. And I think that's something, it got me thinking about something. This is just offhand, and I apologize, it's a little bit off topic, but I was thinking about where do we get the whole concept that
fine.
There is a fate, like you have one fate in this world, one thing, and it's kind of, if you think about how nature is in abundance all the time, abundance of plants and animals and insects and, just bushes, whatever, all around the planet. And why should there just be one thing? You have this one thing, this one destiny, this one fate. And people think of, like having a soulmate or twin flame or whatever they call it these days. There's only one. No, not necessarily. There are little trillions of people on this planet. And there's only one for you? Come on, that's pretty limiting.
Oh, yes, all of that.
Right. And I'm not talking about you, Natalie, if you're listening. I'm just saying just in general for people that, there isn't a one kind of thing. There are, plenty of people.
Right.
It depends upon who you are, what it is that you desire. And it doesn't take away the magic from it. It can still be like a magical experience. But that you have some say, some power in the direction of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the most basic things, we have the power to, okay, do I want to make this decision? Because if I do this, it's not what I really want to do. I'm not going to be that happy, but for some reason I think I should do this. Or, hey, you know what, maybe I should go over here. Something I'm passionate about. I love it. I could do this, asleep, awake, and every day, and I could breathe it in, breathe it out. And, and we make that decision. We make those decisions all the time. We're just not always aware of it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and if you think about it, that's what is preventing people from having what they want in their life. They're disempowering themselves. And there's a lot of a lot to unpack there if you think about it. What you said about there being a fate. Think of the language we use, like saying things like, well, it's just not in the cards, which is a reference to what? It's a reference to what I do. It's a reference to tarot reading, as if something won't happen unless it's in the cards.
Right.
So therefore it's fated to be true. Yeah. And then we either on purpose or even if it's unconscious, we teach people, especially young people, especially young girls. We teach that, oh yeah, there's this knight in shining armor. There's this special one. You were meant to be with this one special person.
Right.
And even some people in our line of work kind of perpetuate it by talking about, the twin flames and the soulmates and all of this stuff like that, and some people totally, buy into it,
Yeah.
And they perpetuate this myth. There's one person we're fated, there's that word again, to be with. And it's not true. There are billions, there are billions of people on the planet, and there are hundreds of millions of people that have a similar energetic vibration to us that would make us a twin flame and would make us be able to have a connection at the soul level with or without romance. That's another layer that people throw in there, and and imagine how much you open up everything, all the possibilities, when you're not constantly, either consciously or subconsciously, unconsciously, Rose, sending out to the universe, I need to find the one. I need the one. The only one, the one that's for me. What we're doing is we're limiting our possibilities. We're limiting the universe. We're telling the universe that I can only be with the one. And the universe doesn't even know what that is to begin with. And, even if you do have an energetic match to it and you're sending it out to the universe, what if that person's on the other side of the world and it's going to take, the next 15 years before you'd actually physically bump into that person that lives on the other side of the world? I know that's a far out there weird kind of example, but it's just to show how limiting it is. Instead, you should be, that's why I say, don't write down on your piece of paper things that are going to be limiting. So you don't want to be like, okay, they have to be this height with black hair or blonde hair and green eyes or blue eyes and this height and this width and this weight and whatever. On that, instead get detailed on the other specifics, how do they treat you? What do you guys do together? What kind of personality do they have? You can
what
get really detailed. I'm sorry? There's a truck going
just
by.
Really quickly. Yeah, what kind of communication do you have? That's also important in a relationship.
Oh, yeah. Tons of examples. Anything where you can get very specific on the details with not getting specific on the person. The exact person. And this way it opens it up. The universe could bring in a myriad of different choices then, and you can test the waters, so to speak, maybe, And this is true of anything, the right job. People think that they're applying for everything possible, but then they have an unconscious limiting visualization going on of the type of work, the place of work that they would do, you see. And so they're unconsciously limiting themselves. They don't even consciously know that they have a thought form created. Where it's too detailed, where it's limiting to other possibilities. Maybe there's something else that is completely unrelated to what you've ever done before, And so, like, if you've always worked as an aircraft engineer, you were working for Boeing and you got laid off. Okay? And you've always worked for aviation companies, Rose, and then suddenly, you're laid off. You may not even consciously know it, but unconsciously, you have a thought form built up, seeing yourself disassociated. That's when you're not like in your own body, but you're like away from your own body, looking at yourself. We call it disassociated in neurolinguistics. And you're seeing yourself, in the manufacturing atmosphere. in some kind of factory, in some kind of aircraft manufacturing facility, you're unconsciously doing this, and you are, because you're putting your attention on there, even unconsciously, you are preventing other there might be this great job as in management, as a manager for a different company that has nothing to do with aircraft manufacturing, but you're preventing the universe from manifesting that for you because you have this thought form, and you don't even know you have it. Okay. So what do you do when you don't even know if you have it or what you have? Very simple. You override it with a new one. This is when Natalie about that you write down the details, you do a meditation, you visualize it. 360-degree visualization, folks. That means a 3D composite visualization where you're not just seeing what you want to attract in, but you're hearing it. What's the sounds? What's the smells? Tactile, what does it feel like? Even taste, all the possible, your possible senses, create a full 360-degree visualization. That visualization will then override anything in your subconscious mind. And then, of course, we can use various other techniques like tapping and NLP techniques and hypnosis to remove some blocks, install these things that we're talking about, install a new visualization, override an old visualization. That all can be done with a practitioner. And another way to do it is to program your dreams, to tell your subconscious what you want and what you need help with finding and so forth. And we talk a lot about that on the show, Dr. Rose. With a lot of our callers, we're telling them about programming your dreams right before you go to sleep. Have a dream journal, a dream diary with a pen, that actually works, all set right next to your bed. So when you wake up in the morning, it's right there. You can write down everything that you can remember from your dreams, because the night before, as you were laying your head down, you're starting to go into that alpha state. You're programming your dreams that, you're programming your subconscious, actually. And to give you the answers, to you in your dream or dreams, because we go through multiple dreams each night, and let you know what it is, that will help you, or the answer to a question, or, to get you closer to your goal, whatever that is. And that's actually how today's topic came up. We had done that on a show, and I found some videos I was watching on YouTube about lucid dreaming, and I thought, we never talk about that. Lucid dreaming. Yeah, and lucid dreaming is really fascinating. It's like the difference between active versus passive experience of a dream. Most of us passively experience our dreams. A lot of times they're not that vivid. They're disjointed, and we're only getting part of what's going on, and things like that. And it's completely different, person to person to person. But to retain more, to have it more, that's what lucid means, to have it more clear, and also to take an active role. You can actually control and manipulate what's going on in the dream. That's all part of lucid dreaming.
And what is the benefit of that? Like, what is, just for our listeners, to be able to, I could understand it for people who have problematic or stressful dreams, right? Like I for example, I had,
that's part.
What is it? When we went into quarantine, I was having dreams of walking around and talking to people without a mask, and I'd wake up all stretched out. Oh my God. And then it was like the third time it happened, something like that, third or fourth time it happened, I was like, I was talking to somebody, and I thought, oh, my goodness, I don't have a mask. And then I thought, oh, you're dreaming. I was like, oh, okay, all right, never mind. Just went out about my business.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking, what is the benefit of lucid dreaming for our listeners? What can they do?
Oh, gosh.
What can they gain from it?
There are so many benefits. I mean, the first obvious one is what you just said. When you have a modicum of control, if you're in a dream and you're being chased by the werewolf, you can manipulate the dreamscape so that, okay, now you're sitting on a couch and the werewolf is a kitty cat and you're petting it.
Right.
You can, get yourself out of dreams that that are more nightmarish that you would rather not be participating in. But the real power is being able to manipulate your dreams towards a goal. So what I mean by that is, on the show, we constantly talk about, by the way, have you seen the movie Inception?
Yes. It's so funny that you asked me that. I just watched that maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah, within the past 2 weeks.
It came out 2010. It was by Christopher Nolan. Inception, and it had what was the main star? The guy from Titanic. Oh
my God! I can see his face.
I can see him, but I can't.
Oh.
What the heck's his name? One of our callers will tell us. Anyway.
Yeah. I'll Google it. Go ahead.
Yeah, you Google it while so Inception is basically based on lucid dreaming. And I got more on that in a second. But the real power is, we tell and we've been telling our listeners for a long time, to program your dreams. Let your subconscious know that you've got a question you need an answer to, and specifically what you need to know, and so forth. But with lucid dreaming, you can actually be awake inside the dream is what it means, but you could be aware that you are in the dream, and you can further manipulate and move along the narrative in order to get the information you need for the goal. Other added benefit is that the more lucid you are with the dreamscape, the more you recall once you awake, because you're already awake in the dream. In fact, I'm going to give you some techniques here and to get people started on lucid dreaming. And those techniques actually deal with awaking the mind and then going back into the dreamscape, which is, why I called the show Wake Back to Bed. This is one of the techniques we're going to do. So, you get control over the dream, and, hey, besides just the sheer pleasure of you can do anything you want, go anywhere you want, be anyone you want to be, fly around, be Superman, be Wonder Woman. I mean, you can do whatever you want in your dreams when you're lucid dreaming. But the real powerful thing is to use the power of your subconscious mind, like a hypnotherapist would do with you in a waking state, putting you into hypnosis, which, by the way, hypnosis is not going from a waking state into sleep, folks. You're not asleep when you're in hypnosis. You're in a different level of trance, but we live our entire lives in trance. And, of course, it would take me, more time than we've got on the show to explain what that means. Maybe we'll do a whole show on that, what really is trance, what really is hypnosis. But it's the same. You're doing the same thing with the subconscious that the hypnotherapist is doing in a waking state, merely in a trance, versus you're actually in a sleeping state within a dream. And so why is that? What does that mean? Why is that important? Well, see, our subconscious is our repository of everything that is you, and everything that's around you has happened to you or that you've come in contact with. We have trillions of bits of information coming in from all five senses. Some say more than that, six sense, from all the senses into the mind every second. Our conscious mind can only handle 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information. That's why telephone numbers are 7 digits long, by the way, folks. In case you wondered, why is the basic number without the area code 7 digits? Because that's how our minds think. We think in sevens, groups of 3s and 4s, you see. So if you have trillions of bits of information coming in the conscious thinking mind, where we have our focus, that's all consciousness is where the focus is. There's no real separation between, we do it in order to make it easy to discuss, say, our subconscious or unconscious mind versus our conscious mind. They're not two separate minds. There's one mind. It's just, where is your focus? Your focus is your conscious understanding, whereas everything is the mind all the time. There is no real subconscious. But for sake of discussion, we'll use the word unconscious or subconscious, referring to that bigger part of the mind, the whole mind, as opposed to the singular focus of our attention. And hypnotherapy, hypnosis, is just a further narrowing of that attention. And so we're only able to deal with, 5 to 9 bits of information at a time, the average person, out of trillions of information coming in. So we miss everything else. And on top of that, we filter everything. That's what neurolinguistics is all based upon, NLP. The information comes in through our senses, but you got to realize you're not seeing anything. The light goes into your eyeball, and it's turned into, first of all, it's turned upside down, the image. It's turned into electrical signals which travel along the optic nerve into the brain, and then in the brain, within the mind, which from my point of view, those are actually two separate things, but just for sake of discussion, the mind flips the image around and reconstructs the image into an object within the brain, within the mind's functioning. You're seeing it then. But you're not really seeing it. You're seeing a version of it that's being constructed by your mind. Well, guess what? We have all kinds of filters. How we were brought up. We have social biases. We have political biases. We have various experiences we've had or not had. So we develop all of these filters. So you and I can look at the same thing happening. Let's just say the riots that have happened in various cities, and one person can look at that riot and another person can look at that riot, from a different direction and see completely two different things happening.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's all based on these perception filters. So we're limited by the fact we can only deal with so much information at a time, conscious level, and then we have the filters messing us up as well. But meanwhile, there's good news here. All of that information that was coming in that we're not dealing with, because it would just it would over, what's the word for it? It would overpower and think
overwhelm.
Think of the processor. You've seen it in like a sci-fi show or something. And the android can't process. It's too much information and it just explodes and dies. Or whatever. That's what would happen to us if we tried to deal with trillions of information coming in per second. We just can't do that.
Right.
All right. So all this information comes in, but it all goes into the subconscious. It's still there. So in lucid dreaming, we can use it. We can go in there. All the answers are in there. And if you want to get a little more metaphysical, that's taking it at a practical scientific level. If you want to get a little bit more metaphysical, our subconscious is connected to our higher conscious, to the collective, so to speak. We have access to all information anybody has ever had anywhere or ever thought of. If you believe in it was actually a scientist, a psychologist, Carl Jung, that came up with that concept, the collective unconscious. Yeah. Right. Whenever there's a large group of the same creature, a consciousness develops apart from the individual consciousnesses, those individual beings. A collective conscious, and every species on the planet has it. And they've actually done experiments on these kind of things, like where they've taught something to a monkey on this island, completely separated from a community of monkeys on this other island 500 miles away, and within a short amount of time, those monkeys have learned what the monkey over here has learned on this other island.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Right, exactly. That's what this is. That's what collective unconscious is. And if you talk to a lot of people who are famous artists and scientists, Einstein and the creator of Inception, Christopher Nolan, he came up with the idea for the movie Inception based on his lucid dreaming. He is a rabid, I can't think of a good word for it, what do they call it when you're like really interested in something? You know, he's a something lucid dreamer. I can't think of the word. What's the word you use when you want to say avid? You know, like avid, like an avid dreamer. He's an avid lucid dreamer, and he created the movie Inception based on lucid dreaming, on his lucid dreaming that he would do. And so if you talk to these artists and musicians and writers, authors, scientists, they will all tell you, to a single person, every single one of them will tell you that they don't know where it came from. It was like I downloaded the book and I just started writing and it flowed out of me. I just picked up the paintbrush and I just started painting and it just flowed out of me from some other place.
Right.
Einstein, when he created equals MC squared, was in a daydream. And he was lucid dreaming. Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, Richard Feynman, the surrealist painter Salvador Dali. Have you ever seen Salvador Dali paintings and how odd some of them look? It's because he's painting the lucid dream he saw. And so all of these famous, how should I put it, creators and abundant people, that's where they all got it from, was lucid dreaming. That's why lucid dreaming is so important and what you can get out of lucid dreaming. So just real quickly, we got to take some phone calls before the end of the show, Dr. Rose. But I'll mention that on our group, I posted a link to one of the videos that has all this information in detail that you can go check out. I'll also put a link to, I did put a link to it on today's show on psychetalk.net. So you just go to the Friday shows. It's actually psychetalk.net/Fridays. Look for today's show on lucid dreaming, and there's a link there that'll take you to that video if you want to go further down the rabbit hole with lucid dreaming. But let me just tell you some basic things real quick. Basic prep. Okay, so obviously, you're going to make sure there's no light coming into the room. when you first start doing this. You've really got to, black it out. No computer screens, no pads, no phones. Make sure, that the room's as dark as possible. Now, here's an interesting one that you might not think of that they recommend, Dr. Rose, is make sure your room is clean. Clean and well kept. So, you want to vacuum, you want to clean, you want to organize everything. You want to put things away in the closets, put things away in the drawers, no clutter, nothing scattered around. That actually affects our ability to get into that deep REM, rapid eye movement sleep. And it affects what happens within our dreams. The clutter in our room can actually affect that. So you want to make sure that, and I'm not saying, do this for the rest of your life. I'm just saying, if you want to experiment with lucid dreaming and you're getting started, at least in the beginning, do these steps. Now, then later on, it'll start to become more automatic as you become an expert at this. But, in the beginning, you want to do everything you possibly can do to set the stage for this. And then what you want to start doing is practicing reality tests, Dr. Rose.
What are those?
Do you remember in the movie Inception, the main actor carried around a spinner top?
Oh, right. And by the way, his name is Leonardo DiCaprio. That's what we were thinking.
Oh, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know why I forgot his name. I could see his face. I could see him in the Titanic. I could see him in Inception in my mind. I could not remember his name. I hate when that happens. I'm having a senior moment, Having a senior moment. But that's why he had that's why he had that spinner. He was testing reality so that he'd know whether somebody had snuck into a dream with him or whether he was actually awake. And so in fact, I completely forget about it. I haven't watched the movie in a year or two. I need to go back and watch it again. I'm kind of getting excited about lucid dreaming here, and I want to watch this movie again. And if you watch the movie Inception, that'll actually set you up too. I'm going to tell you, you should set yourself up for this. In other words, watch the movie Inception, because what happens in the movie is the kind of things you can do in lucid dreaming. In addition, watch that video that I linked to. Search for other videos. Read books. Talk to your friends about, what you're going to do in your lucid dream. So you're, constantly putting your thoughts on lucid dreaming, and it's going to make it a lot easier to happen. But now not practicality. Practicing reality tests. God, I can't get it out. Okay, so when you're wanting to do lucid dreaming, you want to do this about 10 times a day. But now, if you want to do this tonight, the first time you got to do this like 25 times at least today, guys. Okay, this is while you're fully awake, running around, doing whatever you're doing in your normal day at work, at home, whatever you're doing. You want to constantly be doing these reality tests. And there's a lot of them, but the one that they have done the research and found works the best is, okay, you hold out the palm of, say, your left hand, and you take one or two fingers of your right hand, like I'm taking the pointer finger in the middle, curling the other two fingers, and I'm taking these two fingers on my right hand, and I'm pushing it through the middle of my left hand, and nothing happens. So I can say to myself, I must be awake. Look, it doesn't go through. But if you do that in a dream, it will always go through. Your fingers will always go through your hand. And that's actually something that also helps with lucid dreaming, is that this is not true of everyone, but a vast majority within dreams, you cannot see your hands. or your feet.
Mm.
It's a weird phenomenon. We don't know why. But once you can start forcing your hands up and forcing yourself within a dream to see it, you're able to, then you're lucid dreaming. Then you're able to take control when you can see your hands. Yes. So throughout the day, especially the first day, you want to do it a ton. If you're trying to lucid dream tonight, you take those two fingers, am I dreaming? And you ask yourself, as you slam it into the center of your hand, am I dreaming? And obviously it won't go through, and just say to yourself, I must be awake. And then just keep doing that and doing that and doing that. And the reason is, just like with all these other techniques like watching Inception and reading about it and talking to people about lucid dreaming, and so you're setting yourself to do that once you fall asleep and get into the dream, you see. It'll they call it spillover. And so it'll spill over from the reality world into the dreamscape. So hopefully at one point you'll fall asleep, you'll get into REM, you'll get into a dream, and in the dreamscape you'll lift up your left hand and take your right hand and go, boom, am I dreaming? And it'll go right through.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as your fingers go through, Rose, you say, I must be dreaming. And once you've done that, guess what? You are now lucid dreaming. You now have control. Now, there is a way, you'll be able to eventually just do this. Your natural, you can program things before you go to sleep, fall asleep, go into your natural state, and be able to just start lucid dreaming. But when you're first starting out, do all of these techniques. Plus, you might need something to kind of kickstart it. So we have the wake back to bed technique. And just like it sounds, you're waking and going right back to bed without getting out of bed. You're setting an alarm, you're waking up your mind, then going back to bed. And the brain's most active during REM, the rapid eye movement, which happens about a couple hours before you naturally awake. So this is what you do. First of all, you get ready to go to bed. So, no TV, computer screens. If possible, turn the lights off or down and just relax for a bit. Or if you can't do that, read a book for an hour or so. The lowest light you can use reading. You could even wear a sleep mask and just meditate. And then what you do is you set your alarm, whatever time you would usually wake up, set the alarm 2 hours before that. So if you would normally wake up at 7, Dr. Rose, you set it for 5 a.m. And you choose an alarm that will wake you but is not too loud, something soothing and easy to listen to. Most of us do this on our phones. Our phones have, infinite numbers of alarms and alarm tones and so forth. And so you want to pick something that isn't too jarring and place your phone so it's close enough so you can turn it off without getting out of bed. In fact, without even opening your eyes, Rose. You want to have it where the alarm goes off, gently wakes you. You turn it off just by reaching. You keep your eyes closed. And you also already have, make sure, you set your alarm and you have your dream diary and a working pen within reach as well. Okay? So when the alarm goes off, keep your eyes wide shut. And so basically you're waking your mind, but you're keeping your eyes shut, and your body is going to go right back to sleep. In fact, when you wake up in this particular moment, when it's during REM, 2 hours before you would normally wake up, your body has a natural reaction to this. It tries really hard to really quickly go right back to sleep, go right back into that state. And for those that haven't done this before, it might be a little scary because you might experience the sleep paralysis. This is the shutdown of the motor functions of the body. Remember, your mind's going to be awake.
Right.
But your body's going to go back to sleep, and pretty quickly. And so it's going to, and there's nothing dangerous about this. There's nothing that can happen. There's nothing dangerous about any of this. But you may experience the sleep paralysis where you know you're awake and you can't move. It's okay.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. Don't worry about it. Just allow yourself to slip back into the dreamscape. So here's some keys and tips real quickly. Don't get too excited. That's the number one thing, actually. People get so excited. Oh, my God, I'm lucid. So you don't want to do that.
Right.
Yep. And you want to relax. Okay? You know, and try, you know, just experience it. Try guiding the dream versus controlling the dream. So you don't want to make, like, huge sweeping changes. You want to just try to, you know, the first couple of times or so, you just want to observe it, go with it, maybe try to guide it a little bit, and don't get too excited. And like anything else, you know, you're not going to be a master lucid dreamer the first time you do this. It requires experience, practice, even a little bit of discipline to do this. So there you go. There's some just quick stuff on lucid dreaming, how to do it, and, you know, the more adept at it you could become like, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio in Inception, and no, you won't be able to sneak into other people's dreams. Perhaps I don't know. Perhaps you might be able to, but at least you'll be able to control your.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just let me finish up. I'm all done now. I just want to finish up. But at least what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to control your own dreams, and then you can work with that. You can see how far you can take it. You know, develop new understandings. Develop skills that you don't have. Develop artistic abilities. Set a dreamscape where you're sitting at a table with Leonardo. Speaking of Leonardo da Vinci and Einstein, and they're going to answer all of your questions for you in this. You know, you're sitting at a table playing poker with Leonardo da Vinci and Einstein, and you know what I'm getting at is like you can manipulate your dreams to the point where you're gaining valuable information, because remember, what's feeding the dream? All of this information coming from your just unconscious mind, this giant repository of the trillions of bits of information per second, per minute, per hour, per day, per week, per month, per year, throughout your entire life that you've built up. You have access instantly to all that information that your conscious mind doesn't, but you're conscious within the dream because you're lucid dreaming.
Right.
And perhaps if you believe in metaphysics, you know, you believe in the spiritual angle of these things, you know, that there's something beyond the body, that you have access to the collective unconscious as well. And so it's extremely powerful. You can solve your problems, fix things, get answers, develop, you know, new products and new services and businesses and relationships with people and skills and abilities. It's endless.
That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. So we just blew through the time there, Dr. Rose.
Well, I was going to add a couple of things, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely.
About the movie Inception, a little bit of a spoiler alert, but not too much. But in the movie, the main character, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, what is revealed is something that he did with his wife, a former wife actually, was implant a suggestion in her mind. And not to say that it had a great end to it, but he was trying to help her. But that's a very powerful thing when you implant thoughts in your mind, whether it's a question, or you can meet with, Einstein and, all these different, whether people who were alive or characters or whatnot. As you said, your subconscious mind accesses all this information and makes this, come alive.
Elon Musk. It could be anybody, alive
it could be anybody.
They don't have to
Some
be
people
dead.
do that. Right. Sometimes it could be, you're right. It could be current movie stars. Maybe there's something that maybe you're an actor and you admire the acting from a particular movie star and want to learn more about it. And, obviously, going up to the person and interviewing them might not be the thing that you can do. Could cost a lot, or maybe you just don't have access. But you can do that through lucid dreaming. And, I would say different traditions have different names for these kinds of things, because I also think that shamanism is very similar in that respect. When you're going to see your animal totem and whatnot, or to find out what your animal totem or your power animal is. And the other thing, too, is to treat it as real. Like I've had, for example, I had this nightmare one time where just some kind of demonic character in my dream was trying to prevent me from moving my car out of a parking lot, just out of the blue, and I didn't know what was going on or why he was doing it. And he was like in the car parked right directly behind me. I couldn't get out. And I got out of the car, and then so did he. And so I woke up, my heart beating fast, and everything. It was like, oh, my goodness. So then I said, because I work a lot with archetypes, gods and goddesses and angels and divine beings, I said, oh, okay, so you want to scare me, huh? All right, why don't you try this on for size? So I chanted a mantra of a warrior Hindu god. His name is Rama. Some of you may have heard about him in the book. What's the name of the Ramayana? Is an ancient Indian text that talks about a supreme being who incarnated as Rama to help a lot of people and, to model certain kinds of behaviors and whatnot, for the people. And so I chanted Rama, a mantra to Rama, and fell back asleep, reset the stage of where I was. And this is something that I do. Like if I want to change a particular dream, I always reset the stage. I'm back where I was before, before I woke up in the same dream. And it was interesting because not only did Rama did show up, but later but one of his kind of, I would say, highly trusted allies that he was very close to, Hanuman, who was what they call the monkey-faced god, actually showed up first. And then he dealt with the creature. I mean, kicked the car or something, the car of this demon, this person who was parked right behind me, didn't want me to go and looked like he was trying to attack me and saying all these obscenities or whatever. Kicked the car, and the car went flying. And then all of a sudden, and I didn't even call on was it the monkey-faced god Hanuman is, like I said, he's Rama's sidekick. I didn't even call on, not consciously I didn't call on him, but everybody knows when you call on Rama, Hanuman will be there as well. So then all of a sudden this dog, short dog, almost like a black bulldog, but a little bit bigger. Anyway, almost like a Rottweiler type of thing, came rushing back, with just, It was the same demon in a different form, I guess. And then I saw Rama. Rama was a great archer. He had a bow and arrow. And then he took his arrow, hit the dog, and boom, that was it. And that was the end of all of that. And that's a part of, I would say, lucid dreaming in such a way, like because I know about Rama and Hanuman, and so do millions of other people out there, so it's all that collective consciousness. And my mind just, they popped up, whether you consider them to be a separate being or part of the human consciousness, however you think of it, it's really inconsequential.
Yeah.
It was just more of a real happy thing that happened. Like whatever this, this demon that appeared in my dream, the divine beings that I know very well and love very well, boom, handle the situation. You know, and it gives you a sense of confidence in the sense that you don't have to be afraid of these kinds of things, especially if it's the machinations of the mind, right? You know, there's a lot going on. Sometimes we get a lot of input, negative input, and then we have disturbing dreams or whatnot. But you have the power to change that, and you just take something that is, that you really believe in, that almost gives you, I guess, gives you a sense of strength or protection. I mean, it could have been anything. It didn't have to necessarily be divine. These two divine beings, these two Hindu gods. It could have been anything else. You know, for some people, it could be a particular kind of weapon or something. You know, it's different for different people. But my whole point in saying this is just sharing an actual real experience and how it can benefit you in so many ways. You know, and it's not just one other thing too. I was just going to say this one last thing is that sometimes when you have this kind of, you know, I don't normally dream of demons. I mean, that's just not me. And I kind of pseudo believe in them. I think of negativity, right? That it comes in a form or something, especially when you're asleep, your conscious mind is asleep. And so, oh gosh, now I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, it's manifested in that particular way in my subconscious mind. But I was also able to use, you know, the power of my subconscious mind to dispel it. You know, that's what I meant to say. Go ahead, Dad.
Right. But you gave me an idea from what you were saying about, you know, DiCaprio's character and his wife and planning ideas and things like that. Example, you know, but there's, you know, so much more beyond dealing with what's happening within the dream. You know, in the real practical world, how you can use this, you know. And when you mentioned about, you know, the inception and, you know, placing a thought in someone's mind, which is basically what hypnotherapists do. So think about this for a second. You gave me this idea. Here's an idea, folks, how you can use this. Something brand new. I just thought this up. So you sit down with a hypnotherapist. They're going to put you in a trance, and the idea is to connect with your subconscious mind and implant an idea. So you're going inside to the subconscious, implanting the idea. Well, when you're lucid dreaming, it's the opposite in that you're not going into the subconscious. You are inside of the subconscious. To me, it's almost more. And so, you know, when we were talking about, you know, sitting down at a table with Bill Gates and Elon Musk and Einstein and you know, Carl Jung, you know, whoever you want to sit down with, well, you could equally sit down at a table one-on-one with you talking to your subconscious mind. Give it a form and have a conversation and tell it, you know, hey, I no longer smoke cigarettes. I'm a non-smoker. Or I don't want to procrastinate anymore. I want to jump right on some done. I want a new me. This is what the new me looks like, okay? And in order to get there, part of that is I, you know, want to lose 30 pounds, you know. And so you can give instructions to the subconscious that, you know, we're going to start eating this way, different from how we are now to get to this end goal, you know. So it's kind of like inverted hypnosis.
No, that
hypnosis.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That's another powerful way you could use lucid dream. My God, if Inception, you know, the concept in the actual movie actually worked, Oh my God, that would make therapy so much easier. You would just go inside the person's mind. You would tell them that you no longer smoke. Not only that, you've never smoked. You hate smoking. And you would just come out of the inception, out of the dreamscape, and the person would be a non-smoker. Boom. Or any other problem or thing you want to deal with.
Yeah.
But there's a powerful way you could do it yourself. You could be your own therapist. You can, develop your lucid dreaming and then have a conversation with your own subconscious, because your subconscious is what's in control. We think we consciously make decisions throughout the day, but in reality, about 95 to 98% of everything we do is an unconscious decision. We think we're consciously deciding to get that same caramel macchiato at that same, going down that same road to that same Starbucks every single day, and we go, oh, I think I'll stop at Starbucks and have a caramel macchiato. It's like, yeah, your subconscious mind had already decided for you to do that about 15 minutes ago. It's part of a program running in your subconscious. Just like, you picking up the pack of cigarettes and pulling out and lighting the cigarette, you're not consciously thinking of that 90% of the time. So there you go. Anyway, so we are at the end of the show. Let's see if we can squeeze in a call. I don't know. Everybody might have fallen asleep by now, but area code 862, are you there? Hello, 862, are you there? I just thought we'd take a quick call, Rose.
No problem.
Can you hear anything?
I can't.
I am not hearing anything. Hello, area code 862. You're the first caller. Been waiting the longest. Going once, going twice. I don't even hear anything on their end. That's very odd.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go over to area code 267. Hello, are you there?
Hello, my name is Donna. Yes, I've been waiting since the beginning of the show, but thank you.
Yay! Yeah, there was one call before you, Donna.
Yeah, I just wanted a general rating of what you see around me, if you could do that.
See what's coming up for Donna. So I got the Six of Pentacles. Okay, so that's typically a card of repayment, sharing, generosity, good fortune, loans, assistance, charity, investments, getting, receiving, giving, karma, a lot of different things that card can mean, Typically it shows up when someone's going to get a windfall. Something's coming your way. Got another Pentacle card came up too. The Page of Pentacles came up, actually. So somebody that's diligent, meticulous, studious, good-natured. Typically it's happy news coming your way, So, putting those cards together, it looks like something's coming your way.
Oh,
the page is
something positive?
Yeah, and financial. I think it's financial. Some kind of windfall or, that's what's showing up.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, is there a timeline, like?
Not really. I mean, this is, just the first thing that came up, when people ask for general, I don't typically do general readings, but when I do a general reading, on the radio shows, when I'm usually doing them, I'll just, pull a few cards and see what comes up, just a general message. The timing card, though, is 2. So sometime in the next 2 days to 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then you got to call us back and let us know what it was.
That's great. I sure will.
Awesome. Well, thanks for calling in, Donna.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Bye-bye.
What do you got coming up for us?
So, for everybody, all of our shows start at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And what we got coming up tomorrow is the show today.
I think I lost you. Rose? Yeah, we lost Rose. So just real quickly, I'll recap that for everybody. So tomorrow I'll be back on with Mary Brown, Tarot Today Radio. We're going to be talking about our Oracle decks going mainstream. Plus we'll be taking your calls, of course, Tarot mini readings, open lines. Then Monday, September 21st, Wisdom of the Soul with Janice Fuchs, followed by Wednesday the 23rd. It is part 3 of Living Your Best Life During Uncertain Times with Catherine Hahn. Now, I did want to mention that that's not going to actually be a live broadcasted show. Instead, you want to go to psychictalk.net/chat at showtime on that Wednesday the 23rd and type in your questions and everything, and then Catherine will be answering you on Facebook. She has jury duty next week, so she can't do the live broadcast. And then we will be back Friday, September 25th. Dr. Rose and I, tapping for stress, EFT. Awesome sauce. So there you go. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we will see you next week.